Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. Have you ever considered bugging out? Come on, right? Of course you have. You're watching this channel. Of course you've considered that. You've considered going somewhere, and you know that it's more than just having a bug-out bag, a bob or a BOV, B-O-V, bug-out vehicle loaded with gear, and we're just going to get in it, we're going to go, and that we're getting out of here, baby. Well, you got to have a place to go, right? You have to have a plan. How well have you thought that out? Maybe you're blessed enough to have some land, and maybe you are the bug-out location. How much thought have you put into that? Maybe you've invited, your extended family to come stay with you, or some friends or something like that, and you say, hey, just come to my place, man. We'll all hook up there at the ranch, and we'll survive Armageddon together. Well, at Shofar Mountain, we have considered this for some time, for a couple years, and we have some experience in it, and I thought that I would share it with you. And, like anything else that I put out there, take what you can use, discard the rest. Chew it up a little while, think about it, and then eat the meat and spit out the bones, right? Take what you can use. And so here's how it goes. People come to Shofar Mountain, and they like it. They like the sense of community that's there. They like the sense of independence. We have wells and gardens and animals and yada, yada, yada. We're living off the grid already, so if the grid goes down, who cares? And so invariably they get around to saying, hey, can I bug out here? Or I'd like to consider this my bug out location, or ruder, I'm coming here if anything happens, right? We've heard that before. And so it has encouraged us, forced us, directed us to come up with a set of procedures for how that works. And again, maybe some of this will work for you, maybe it won't. The first thing is this, though. In a bug out situation, something has happened that has caused either you to bug out or people to bug out to your location. Man, things aren't going to be as they normally are, and emotions are going to be running high, and stress is going to be high. And so you want to make sure that you get along with the people now that are going to be sharing your bug out location, let alone under stressful situation. And so at Shofar Mountain, we encourage people to come hang out with us. And I'm not just talking about at Shabbat and the feasts when we have all kinds of people coming, but actually come hang out with us, take some vacation time and do some work with us, get to know us, and more importantly, let us get to know you and your entire family who you plan on bringing to bug out. So that's the first step, establishing a relationship. And relationships take time. You have to invest time. There's a lot of people who think they're just going to make this stuff happen like that, and in whatever case, Shofar Mountain or somewhere else, and it just doesn't work that way. And so invest the time in people, in relationships. Invariably, people get around to the point where they think, wow, I really like it here. I like these people. I want to come live here if times get tough. And so they broach the subject with us. Hey, could I come here for a bug out? At that point, if we like them, we typically try to encourage them to move to Shofar Mountain. There's still a lot of work to be done. And if we like you well enough to let you bug out, we probably like you well enough to let you come live with us and live on community and live as we do. And if that's the case, that's another whole process that we're not going into here. But that's another whole process. But let's say, hey, whatever, life, people say, no, I just need it for a bug out location. Can I do that? So here's what we do. Again, we encourage them to spend time with us, and you have to get to know the Shofarians, and you have to get along with the Shofarians, because we're pretty tight. We have our own culture. Every group has their own culture. A fraternity has its own culture, and you have to be introduced to that, and you have to be a fit. Now, we have a broad range of people to fit, but you do have to fit. If after a period of time, and that's not specified, things are going well and you still want to consider Shofar Mountain a bug out location, then what we do is we give you the talk, right? And the talk is our rules for the road of living at Shofar Mountain. And for us, and again, it may not be for you, but for us, we try really hard to keep Torah, to keep the commandments of the Most High Yah, and everybody on the land has to do that. So if you plan on bugging out there, you gotta do that. We all have a testimony of Yeshua, of Jesus Christ, right? And so these are givens that have to be for us. For you, it may be different, but whatever it is, you have your mores, your ways, and you need to make sure that the people who you're linking up with are in agreement to make that work. And so we have that talk, and we've probably already had that talk at this point. And then we tell them, all right, here's what you need. The first thing is you need to get yourself and put here on Shofar Mountain a shed of Home Depot quality or a tough shed. Here's one right here. Back away from it. It has to be at least 8 feet by 10 feet, and that's what this one is right here. And you have to put that on Shofar Mountain. Now, this shed, when you do so, becomes the property of Shofar Mountain. It's your price of admittance. No structures leave Shofar Mountain. And so you give us this shed. But you will store stuff in the back half of this shed, and we, Shofar Mountain, will store stuff in the front edge of the shed, front half of the shed, and we will use that on a day-to-day basis. You know, we'll put shovels, or this shed right here is a horse shed. This is not a bug-out shed. I'm actually in Kansas right now, but it gets the point across. And so you have to store certain things in that shed, and that shed, come a bug-out situation, will become your home. All of our stuff, you know, just let me use that term right now, all of our stuff will come out of that shed and go elsewhere, and then that shed will be your cabin. So you can make it bigger than 8 by 10. We haven't reached the limit yet of too big, where we've had to say, no, that's big enough. So you can build a bigger shed if you want. What do you have to store in it? You have to store in this shed at a minimum 12 months of food. Now the food is yours, and you can take the food back whenever you want. The shed is ours, it stays. We have to agree to the food. So someone can't come and say, you know, well, here's a case of rice and a case of MREs, a bag of rice and a case of MREs, and that's a year's worth of food for me. I don't eat much. No. And so generally speaking, a bucket of food is a month of food, and so 12 buckets per person, that works. You know, beans, rice, wheat, you know, stuff like that, lentils. And so you have to store that in here. Why is that? Because I don't have enough money to store food for all the people who say they want to bug out to Shofar Mountain. Yeah, we're growing our own food and producing our own food, but we don't know what's going to be happening. You know, we don't know if it's going to be the middle of winter or what. And so if you're serious about wanting to bug out there, you should be serious enough to sock away some food. Which again, anytime you change your mind, it's your food. You can take it with you and leave. I have lots of videos, you know, just look at my video thing up there and how to do this, how to do food. There's more at shofarmountain.com of how some of the saints stored their food with oxygen absorbers and things like that. But so yeah, we do require that. It's not a lot of money actually to do that, and everyone should have a year's supply of food anyway, and what better place to keep your year's supply of food than at your bug out location. You know, it saves you from having to carry it. So there's that. The other thing they have to store is a composting toilet and 5 buckets of peat moss or sawdust. Now, a composting toilet is a 5-gallon bucket with a toilet lid on it. Why do we make you do that? Because we can't have 30 people, let's just be a little graphic here, pooping all over in the woods all around the living areas where we are all at once. So we're going to get you set up right away. Time tested, proven, we all use them at Shofar Mountain method of waste management, if you will. And it's sanitary and it doesn't stink, and you know, so you can use that. That's the minimum. That's all. You can store whatever else you want to. I mean, I would recommend you store, you know, bedding and medical stuff and any special needs that you have. I'd keep a gun and some ammo there, you know, yada, yada, yada. Again, everything you store in the shed, and you get the back half of whatever shed you build is yours. You can come take it whenever you want, but the shed stays. So there's that. And then the final thing is this. I told you that when people get to the point where they want to consider Shofar Mountain a bug out location, we try to convince them to move there, move here. And we do that because, hey, we still need help, you know, and we are trying to build a community, and it's the place to be. We don't really want to be considered an escape pod, right? But if that's the decision you make and it all works out right, you have to understand one thing. When you show up, you're not on equal standing with the Shofarians. Shofarians is what we call the people who are at Shofar Mountain. You don't have the same say because you didn't jump in early enough. You know, you weren't willing to endure the hardships of living at Shofar Mountain and help build it for what it is, and so you can't expect all the rewards of that. And so the Shofarians will be the government, if you will. And you will get to know the Shofarians in the time that you spend with us long before this ever happens. So again, how do you use this? You've got a ranch maybe, you know, you got 80-acre ranch and you have the main house and a couple barns and da-da-da-da-da. You could do the same thing with sheds. You could do the same things with, you know what, if you all want to consider this a bug out location, you need to come here at calving time. You need to come here in the fall when we're stretching fence, yada, yada. You need to invest in this place if you want to consider it. and then get to know people. And then, come up with how y'all are going to make decisions at your bug out location when things happen. So there's that. That's what we've done. Put a shed on the ground, put some food in it, have a toilet in it, have whatever else you want in it. Oh yeah, we tell people too, whatever you put in that shed, it has to be done for long-term storage, because we're not going to inspect it and, manage it and take care of it. It's going to go in the back of the shed, and we're not going to mess with it. And so, there's that. And of course, you're welcome and encouraged to come many times and check on it and add to it or whatever. But that's what we do. It used to be secret. There's no need to keep that secret. So you can share that with people. And hey, yeah, if you like any of these videos, would you please share them on social media? Just share the videos so other people can see. And if you've seen a couple of these videos and you like them, could you subscribe, please? We're trying to do something with that. I'll let you know that later. But yeah, share them if you like them. And if you're not subscribed and you've seen a couple and you like it, go ahead and subscribe. All right. Take this, think about it, talk it over with your loved ones, and come up with your own plan. All right, I'll see you out there.